Hello everyone! Hi, my name is Alex and welcome back to my channel, welcome to my studio, and welcome to episode 13 of Alex Likes to Knit. This is a knitting podcast where I just sit down and talk about what I'm knitting. I have four works in progress that I'm going to be talking about. First I'm going to talk about 2 socks, and then I have a bigger project that I've casted on that I'm really excited to share, and some progress on my big scrappy project that I introduced last episode. So let's get started. I actually don't have any finished objects this episode, which is kind of not like me because I tend to knit a lot of vanilla socks and I'm always focused on socks and making socks for people. And I just tend to, every week or so, have some socks finished, and I don't. But actually, I am pretty happy about that because really the reason that I don't have socks finished is because I've been so excited about a larger project that I'm working on. So I will talk just really quickly about the socks that I have in progress because I talked about them last time and I still haven't finished them, and then we'll talk about some larger projects. So let's get right into it with my first sock width. And here it is. So this one I did have last episode and I wanted to share my progress on it. I've had this as kind of my travel project that's really easy to take with me places because it's all a stockinette vanilla sock and it's just one ball of yarn. So in the last episode I had finished most of this sock. I was right here at this marker. This is a stitch marker that I made. It's a little canvas. And so I was down there at the bottom and almost to the toe. And so I finished up that sock and I've started on the second sock, and I have just gotten to where I'm just doing stockinette for the foot. So not really anything to report on these. In case you missed it, this is a yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's Yarn Bee. I don't shop at Hobby Lobby, but I got this in a D-stash for a really good deal with some other Yarn Bee colorways. So I thought they'd be fun just to have for gifts and stuff. It was a lot of kind of random colors that I wouldn't normally get. So this one though really interested me. The color is called Shibori Blue, I believe. And so it's like indigo and natural colored, and the speckles, like the way that this is knitting up is so cool to me. So I'm just making a pair of vanilla socks that I can keep for myself. And my vanilla sock recipe, basically what I'm using for this one, I use 56 stitches, cast on 56 stitches, knit 15 rounds of knit 2, purl 2. On this sock, I did 40 rounds for the leg, so a little bit of a short kind of crew sock. A slip stitch, heel, flap, and gusset, where I do 18 slip stitch repeats. And then I got my gusset, and then I believe I did 50, yeah, it looks like 50 stockinette rounds for the foot and a little square toe where you decrease on both sides every round. So that is the vanilla sock, and that's what I'm doing for this one for myself. Pretty simple, and I'll probably be done with this one pretty soon since I got to the stockinette part. I'll start bringing this places again and probably finish it up this week or so and be able to wear them. I need to keep making kind of more plain socks for myself because I'm finding that the socks that I wear the most are my like really boring ones. Like these are just plain orange, really short, like crew socks. Plain. This was the second pair of socks I ever made, and I still wear them all the time. Because they're just plain and they're so easy to wear, and if it's not gonna like super like stick out with like, you know, an outfit. I'm just wearing like jean shorts and a t-shirt. Just plain orange socks. So I'm thinking about kind of making some basic socks for myself that can really be like everyday wearable. while it's been cold, I do wear the like crazier ones more often because I will wear them with my boots. And so they'll like just stick up a little bit out of my boots, or I'm wearing boots and then pants and you can't see them at all. So wearing those more fun, taller, crazier colored ones is fun for the winter, but I do pretty much wear my hand knit socks year round. Whenever I'm doing like everyday out and about stuff, I'll wear them with shoes like this. And so doing some more basic ones and some shorter ones and some shorties is going to be just part of what I need, you know, moving forward, and they're fun to knit. So that's the first work in progress. I probably won't talk about this one next time whenever it's finished, because I'll just like finish them and be wearing them. So yeah. Let me move on. Let's go to the next work in progress. Okay. So I said, oh my gosh, these bags are the same. Different projects, same bag. Okay. I said I didn't have finished objects, but I guess now that I'm looking at this, I kind of do. If you were here last time, you remember the Mardi Gras socks that I was working on. Let me slip this one on a sock blocker so you can really see it. There it is. So this is the first one that I finished. In my last episode, I had started this one and was almost to the toe here on the first sock. Again, I have a little canvas stitch marker marking where I was during episode 12. And I finished this sock. And then I finished his buddy. So these are the same. We'll just leave that one off the sock blocker. No big deal. But I am knitting these for my aunts, and I want them to have like a matching set. I think that would be cute. Mardi Gras is going to be past by the time they get them. Today is Mardi Gras. It's February 13th. So they'll probably get them sometime next week. And that's okay. Not really a big deal. I think they'll still appreciate them, and they can wear them year after year. And I think they're going to want to wear them more like whenever it's cold anyway, because they're tall and they're woolly and, you know, they're thick. So it's fine. It's always Mardi Gras in Louisiana. Yeah, you can wear Mardi Gras stuff year round in Louisiana. These really aren't that crazy looking too. So anyway, so I finished this one, finished his buddy. I started the second pair where I'm just doing the dark green as the main color. So it has a dark green cuff, dark green heel, and then dark green toe. So I finished the third sock, and now I'm working on the fourth sock here. And I'm on the gusset decreases of this fourth sock. So yeah, this is this yarn is Barocco vintage sock. I just recently rewound these cakes because they were kind of falling apart and being crazy. But yeah, this is Barocco vintage sock, which is a really affordable sock yarn. These are 100 gram balls. They are $10 at my local yarn store. And I don't know the color numbers, but it's like a heathered purple, a heathered dark green, and then a solid yellow. I wish I could have gotten more similar colors. I talked about this last time too. It's kind of bugging me that these two are heathered and this one is solid. This one also seems less fuzzy. So they don't really go together, and I feel like it defeats the purpose of me buying the same base whenever these really aren't perfect Mardi Gras colors. It would have been nice to have more of a Kelly green. It's like a very dark green, and then have more of a like solid purple, like royal, like darker purple. The yellow's fine. Maybe we could have done more of a golden yellow. They still definitely look like Mardi Gras colors, but I was not like super happy with the colors. But I was looking at my local yarn store, so they don't have like every single color, right? I wasn't like disappointed with their selection or anything. It was just if I would have had more forethought, I could have ordered really good colors online and done like a Knit Picks order. Picked a yarn, like Knit Picks Stroll. They have tons and tons and tons of color options, and like picked a good Mardi Gras set of 3. I don't know. Whatever. Not a huge deal. Whenever I'm done with these, I still have plenty of these left to make like separate pairs, and I'll just use them, you know, by themselves or with other solids, and it'll be fine. Not really that big of a deal. And now that I'm almost done with this project, I'm kind of over it, but I'm also like really excited to send them to my aunts because I think they're going to be excited. So it's like almost disappointing because I'm like, oh, the colors could have been better, but no one else is really going to care except me. Because they're so cute. Like, I've been taking these out and about a lot too, whenever there's stuff where I can like mess with my color changes and things, and everyone like really likes them. Like, these really are fun. It's crazy like having all of them. So, I mean, yeah, I haven't made a lot of socks because I've been working on these. Yeah, for sizing for these, I wanted them to be more of like a looser fitting house sock. So I did a little bit of a bigger size than what I do for my vanilla socks for myself. Cast it on 60 stitches, and this is the same for both pairs. The cuff is a knit 2 purl 1, so that I would have like a multiple of 3, so that I could have 30 on the front needle and 30 on the back needle, and not have to rearrange. So it just is a little bit different. It's like a little bit more smooth than a 2x2 because it's a 2x1. I did 20 rounds for the cuff, and then these rows are 10 row repeats. So 10 rows, 10 rows, 10, 10. So 50 rows for the leg. I did my slip stitch, heel flap and gusset with 18 slip stitch repeats, which is what I usually do. And then I did, this is still 10 rows of purple. I did 1 row before the heel, 9 rows after in the gusset, and then 10 rows of each all the way down, and then I did 10 rows of purple before starting my little square toe where I just decrease every round. And I love that the cuff, the heel, and the toe came out purple, and I didn't have to disrupt the striping pattern at all, and I could use that as kind of the main color. Really, really happy with that. I could definitely see myself doing this idea again with a 3-color like sequence. I am really happy with how that worked out. So yeah, that's it. Again, I probably will not talk about these whenever they are finished because I'm just going to finish them and ship them off, and we'll have bigger and better things to talk about next episode anyway. So on to bigger and better things. I'm sorry, my chair that I'm sitting in today is like making noises. Anyway, I have been talking literally for months about starting this green cardigan. Okay, some of you probably remember I bought this green yarn. I was so excited to make this green cardigan. You guys, I have finally started my green cardigan. And here it is. I got quite a bit done on this actually. I'm in the middle of a row. Typical. Look at that! The color is so nice. I think the shape is going to work really, really well. I'm so happy with it. So let me talk details for this project. I am using Barocco Vintage worsted. So it's a worsted weight yarn. It's part acrylic, part wool, and part nylon. And it is like a heathery green. Let's see. It's kind of like shiny and golden in the light, but it's very like olive green, like overall toned, and I love the color. I really think I'm going to wear this all the time. It took me a while to decide on what pattern I wanted to cast on. I've been looking at patterns, and I'm like, okay, I have this worsted weight green yarn. I have 5 skeins. I can get more if needed. Looks like my 5 skeins should be enough, but if I need to get another one from the yarn store, that is no big deal. So I had made a bundle on Ravelry and was saving worsted weight patterns that had roughly the gauge that I was looking for, because if you remember last time, I knitted a sweater for my dog in this same yarn with like a big stockinette section on the back, and I used that as my gauge swatch, which was perfect. So using size 5 needles and got 19 stitches per inch. So I was able to look at Ravelry for cardigans with a 19 stitches per inch gauge. I think I looked at like 18 to 20 as a range. Because I want this kind of oversized, if I was 1 stitch off, I figured I could make it work. So I found a few options, and I wanted to specifically look for a pattern that was pretty basic, but also size inclusive. And I found that, and I'm super excited about this pattern. So the pattern that I'm working from is called the Coven Cardi, or Coven. I have forgotten the designer's name. A designer I'd never heard of before now. And it had nice pattern pictures, a full size range, and it's customizable with stripes and things like that. The gauge was right for what I wanted, and I also wanted a ribbed button band, not an applied button band. I was thinking about doing the Leith cardigan from the Crea Rebecca Clow. The button band freaked me out for that one. The idea of doing a double knit button band super, super long by itself and then sewing it on. I think that cardigan is so beautiful and it's so simple, and I think one day I probably will make that cardigan, but I was like, not for my first cardigan. That is so overwhelming. So this one is just a little bit more simple. It kind of has the vibe, at least this one, because I'm making it in solid color, has the vibe of the Eva cardigan by Petite Knit. But that's a DK weight pattern, so it has a little bit of a smaller gauge. But yeah, it's just super, super basic. And so far, I'm finding this pattern to be really wonderful. I'm knitting the 4th size. I chose that size just by measuring a store-bought cardigan that I have that I really enjoy the fit of. I measured across the kind of bust measurement of that, and I got what would be the 4th size. It also has a lot of room, so if I do get a little bit off gauge and it's like a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, it'll be totally fine. And then I just checked the armhole depth that it had for the 4th size, and it's pretty close also to that cardigan that I enjoy, so I'm feeling good about the size. I haven't measured my gauge on this. I definitely have plenty of stockinette area to measure and see how my gauge is looking, but I'm feeling good about it, you know? And I already got to, I was super, super focused on this while I was doing the increases. I was working on this like every day, every night, like obsessed with it, until I got to where I split for sleeves and started working the body. And now I'm just going back and forth in stockinette, which is a little boring. So I don't know. It's gonna be a while. A lot of knitting to do. Doing just a few rows really does take me a while, but I am so excited for the finished product of this, and I do like just mindless knitting. I want to have this be my TV knitting, movies, not like at the movies, but just at home whenever I'm just sitting and knitting in the morning or in the evening, just working on this back and forth on the body for a while. And I'm feeling really good about it. Oh yeah, so the pattern, it is super basic raglan shaping. So if you've never done a cardigan before, but you've done a top-down raglan, this is a really easy cardigan to wrap your head around. It is the increases for the raglan are super simple. I actually changed them slightly to be like the increases in the Tolsta tee, which are also super simple. You could do either way, but you have increases for the raglan, and then you start here kind of right at the front raglan, and you're like also increasing this way to make the V-neck. So you're increasing out for your raglan, you're increasing out this way for your V-neck, and you're just going back and forth. And you're only increasing on the knit side, so you're not having to do like weird purl increases, which are not that fun. It's just like really simple to follow. And really straightforward. And I think that the fit is going to be perfect. So I'm really happy with this. I believe it was like a $10 pattern, something like that. Definitely worth the investment, because I know that I can also make several pieces from this pattern. Definitely worth the investment. I'm really, really happy with this pattern so far. So if you try it out, or if you've ever tried or seen this pattern, let me know. Let's talk about it. I think it's a great one. Yeah, that's about it. So, oh yeah, one more thing that I want to share. Let me grab a few things. Okay, my last work in progress that I want to talk about before I head out for the day is my granny square blanket. So for the last episode, I had just started a scrappy granny square project, and I'm so excited to be adding to my little granny square collection, because I really feel confident now that I will make these into a blanket one day. Last time I had 5 little granny squares, and they are little, okay? And I was like, I'll just keep making them, see if I enjoy the process, see kind of how it feels and everything. And I know it's going to be a long-term project. It's not anything that I need to stress about. But I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more. So I'm just going to kind of flash these. This is just leftover sock yarn that I had from different projects. This is solid orange from some Halloween socks. The light blue from my Ruby and Roses Advent. This one is from my Ruby and Roses Advent. This one is from my Ruby and Roses Advent. This is a solid purple that was left over from a few different pairs of socks that I made. This is some from the Shibori blue color that I'm working on. A solid green left over from socks. A Ruby and Roses Advent color. This is a Teeny Button Studios sock yarn that I've used for a few socks. This is a Leading Men Fiber Arts color called And Then There's Maud. And this is a Ruby and Roses Advent color. And look how happy my little stack is. Like, it's amazing. I'm so happy with those and just how that project is coming along. And yeah, everything that I'm kind of working on is making me really happy. It might be a while before my next episode, because I just want to focus on that cardigan, and I'm just going to be knitting back and forth, and I just don't think it's going to be that exciting. But if I, make some progress on that, maybe make another pair of socks. I do have a pair of birthday socks plans that I'll be starting soon. Then I'll definitely pop in again and record, but you might be seeing some shorter or fewer and farther between episodes from me, because I'm knitting a boring cardigan, but I think that's great. So just let me know, what are you knitting on while you're watching? And that's kind of it. I mean, like and subscribe. I'd love to meet you. Say hey in the comments. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.